talk about land.
A stranger in
Good
a
land.
strange
Beautiful
land.
Maine has lost
Did I just do that?
38% of its manufacturing jobs
Isn't he,
since
though?
NAFTA. And China
I
trade
think it's
deals
time to
went
celebrate.
into effect. Think of that.
And maybe have a cigar.
And they were approved
Because
by
Trump
Bill Clinton, supported
is
heavily
winning
by Hillary.
the fight. As long
Right
as
here
we
in
stay in the fight,
The paper industry in Maine
we too
is taking it.
can win.
You all know about it.
Been working on that all day.
Maine's paper industry has lost 2,500 jobs in the past 2 years. What's going on? And 2,300 jobs we've lost in the country 70,000 factories since China entered the world trade.
I don't know, Iron. I got Iron Mike here with me, Iron Fist. I don't have a cigar. I got a beer. Cheers.
After promising she would oppose it, Hillary also pushed through a deal.
You like that one? That's why we've got 24-hour watch. If it's that close, we won't even be able to blink. Our hero, Donald Trump, continues to rally and will be
Hillary wants
amazed. We'll all be amazed.
which will kill millions more jobs. The TPP, well, they're looking at her properly now.
Whew. Get out of hand here on the bond factor. Welcome back. We're live. Watching a Trump rally from earlier today. Another extraordinary
Tough situation that our country's going through, that I can tell you.
moment for Donald.
The TPP would result in the closure of Maine's shoe factories and the loss of so many other jobs. Who works at a shoe factory?
You know, another thing that
Anybody here?
comes to mind for me, as we sort of
So
come
they're
back to
mostly
earth
gone.
here after our break,
Is that right? They're mostly gone. You mean
is the
if I would've
extraordinary
said
news
10
about
years
the
ago, people
FBI
would've raised
reopening
their
the
hand.
case.
All right, we'll bring them back. We're going to bring, I'll tell you what, we're going to bring our jobs back. Now, how's that for an answer? I say, who works at a shoe factory? And the guy shouts out, they're all gone. As part of my contract, we will stop the TPP and we will renegotiate NAFTA and we will terminate NAFTA if we don't get the deal we want and replace it with a fair deal and a good deal for American workers.
So let me ask you here, Iron Mike. I mean, you know, as we talk about, you know, more substance than what people would like to talk about, which is the fact that, you know, Donald Trump's hair is orange and some of that stupid stuff. Here we go, trade. Some of the things. Have you heard Hillary talk about anything like this?
No, when she did talk about it, she actually was defending her position the first time, and because she had switched, and she was for TPP, and then heard what Trump was saying, and then switched to she wasn't for TPP, but she doesn't know what she's for. What she is for is the NAFTA because her husband signed one of the worst deals. That deal's terrible. All the jobs are leaving. They're going down to Mexico. Mexico looks great. And then Detroit, LA, everything looks like crap around here. So they got plenty of money there, and we don't have to. They don't. You know, Mexico doesn't have to worry about their elderly or older group of people because they're here in the United States, and so they have plenty of money for the things they need to do to build their cities and infrastructure. And all our money is being drained to take care of that's coming across the border. So it's not just about drugs. It's just about people that are coming over and sucking on the Social Security and Medicare system, Medicaid system, education system that's for the people that are here already.
Well,
so,
isn't it funny how people always get caught up and they say, well, you know, Trump is a racist, he's a bigot because he's not for this sort of open border. And they get caught up on the word illegal. Like, we're just talking about people that are here illegally sucking from the system. We're not talking about people who come here legally. And I'll tell you something. I am for the argument that coming here legally should be streamlined. And I think Trump has also said that he's for simplifying that, reforming, because, you know, some of those, you know, people that have tried to come here legally have a good point. They're on the waiting list 5, 7, sometimes 10 years. But
absolutely.
Still, the idea that, you know, the argument of being racist because you don't want people here illegally is crazy.
Well, no, you have to put in 42, I believe it's 42 quarters of work before you qualify for Social Security. You can't just come in all of a sudden and work 3 quarters and you qualify for the Social Security that I've been putting in for, 20 years. So,
Well, and that brings me back to my point is, do we really hear Hillary talking about these kinds of issues? I mean, some of what she talked about today was, Trump's, again, statements about women. And, she continues this sort of gutter attack while Trump continually, day after day, gets rallied, gets people behind him in
Also,
record
at
numbers.
the center of our jobs plan is tax reform. You don't mind having lower taxes, do you, anybody?
Well, and he mentions the
My
tax reform
contract
too,
calls for-
which I think is interesting as well, because Hillary's not out really being clear about the fact, and I think this is something that because Mike, you work with people that have financial interest in investments and families. Say a family of 4 with a husband and wife that work, and they make about $250,000 a year, which is barely surviving, right, in a family of 4.
yeah.
That's the number on Hillary's who she's not raising tax on the middle class. So
Well-
let's be clear about that. If you make less than $250,000, which she claimed last week or two in her, as a family of 4, $250,000 is nothing. That's still 80-90% of the middle class. Am I correct?
Well, yeah, it's a lot. It's under 250,000 is a large group of people. But
Well, it sounds like a big number, but I'm sure that
think
she's
about it
talking about the family income.
think about it this way. You wonder why Wall Street's behind Clinton? Well, I'll tell you why. Because the money's going to Clinton because she says, and I quote, that Wall Street should regulate themselves. We know what happens when Wall Street regulates themselves. They steal. And they do bad deals. And she says that because she's being funneled $250,000, $500,000, $750,000 into speaking fees for Goldman Sachs, J.P. Morgan Chase, and I can just go on down the line. They're buying. She's selling out, and she says, "Hey, let Wall Street manage themselves." Well, they just bought it. They bought the way to manage themselves, and I'm in that business. And we should not be managing ourselves. We should be regulated and oversighted, and making sure that everybody that has the make sure that their money's protected. You work long and hard, and the last thing you need is corruption and theft and dishonesty to ruin your wealth, to ruin your nest egg. And it's happened. And these politicians, they're there on the way up on the bubble, and they're shorting the market on the way down, and they're back into the market on the way up, create another bubble, and they're doing it again. So as long as you understand that you got these people that are lining up behind Hillary Clinton, should red flag, because you have somebody that runs good business in the private sector and has gotten wealthy by doing good business and knows that there are audits and there are taxes and there are things that you have to comply at all times. So there's accountability at the highest level, even within the board of directors, you name it. You are held at accountability. Even our churches have elders where you're held accountability and money flow throughs. As we sit here and question whether Trump is fit for the job is just hilarious.
I agree. I think it is.
Absolutely.
It is hilarious.
I would like to say, Hillary, go line item by line item, and let's look at a budget, and let's see you do the balance sheet. And when that thing's in red, there's something wrong. You have to go back and start cutting until that thing is in the black.
Well, he's not.
And that's one of the reasons.
I don't know. He's every
why
single
our
day
companies are all
pounding
leaving.
policy. So how do you really get past that?
Nations in the world, just about the highest, and we're going to be one of the lowest.
It's part of the
Not the
whole
lowest, but
strategy
close.
of the Democrat Party is, they distract,
It cuts
they're
taxes
violent,
for the middle class families by
and they
35%.
create chaos. It's
We
what
will
Satan
become
does.
a
Satan
rich
comes in, he
nation.
creates chaos, he creates
So
confusion, and when that happens, then people get
I tell
scared,
the story,
which
this
is
wonderful
another
woman came up to me
evil
after
thing to
speaking.
do, is creating
Said, "I love
fear
you,
within
Mr. Trump.
people.
I love your
Rather than
speeches.
just
I
being
think
truthful,
everything is great, but could you please
we don't
stop
have
saying
that.
we're gonna
So,
be a rich nation again?
you name it.
sounds so crass. And I
These
said, you know
guys
what?
are lined up,
We have no
and
choice.
they're in the fight for their
We
life
owe
on this
right
one.
now
They've put
How
16
many
years
trillion do we
into globalism.
I just want.
It started with Nixon
And how
when
much
he
has it
signed the
been
deal for the
increased
trade for
since
China
Obama became
and
president,
going into that meeting and opening the doors.
right? It doubled.
So instead of
it doubled
thinking
in 8
properly,
years, less than 8 years. It doubled.
in our interest, these
And I
guys
said, I'm sorry,
just
but do what we
negotiated
have to
our
do, which is
whole,
build
you
up
know,
our
our companies are gone.
To take care of your
You know,
Social
America's a
Security
beautiful
without
land, but there's
cuts.
got to be some production here, or we're not going to be able to pay for
We
things
have to do, I'm sorry,
like
ma'am, we have to do
Medicare
our
and Social
legislation.
Security and education and food and all the other good stuff that everybody enjoys.
Well, yeah, I agree with you. I think that's true.
But
I mean,
to be a rich nation again,
and it's hard to
we
get
must
to all of the
also
things
be
that go
a
through your
safe
head, all the things that
Hillary Clinton
we see
unleashed
happening.
onto
But
the world.
what's great to
And
see
spread all over
is
America.
is
There are
that
now
Donald Trump is
1,000
actually
open ISIS investigations
doing
going
what I
on.
think is the right thing in exposing everything. You know, I've even heard it said
We
that
have
let's
seen
say that he was to even, gosh forbid, lose the election,
A lot of people agree
that
with
so much has come out, and the fact that now we have the
seen
FBI
attacks in San
sort of
Bernardino
reinvestigating
and
that this
the
thing's
Bolsa
not done.
in Orlando.
So what we need to do is, as we've always tried to encourage everybody to do here on the show, is get informed. So as we come back from the bottom of the hour here again, we're going to check back in with Trump and his rally, which is in and of itself a beautiful thing. And as we come back, we're going to spend the last part of the show tonight telling you how to watch when you go out and vote, what to look for. Iron Mike will get you back on that with me, and we'll be back after this. Donald Trump.
We're going to build the wall, and Mexico's going to pay for the wall. Believe me. We'll build the wall, and Mexico will pay. Believe me. And we're going to stop the drugs from pouring in through our southern border and poisoning your children, and poisoning a lot more than your children.